Okay, welcome back. Today we are going to work on the reins for the English saddle set that I was making. And so we finished the bridle, but I don't like the reins, so I went ahead and pulled them off. Very simple reins, but now I want to show quality them a little bit more. So I've got a good picture from the internet on what a rein end looks like, to see how there's a loop and a couple of keepers on it. So we're going to fake that when we go and add it to the bit, or to the bit on the bridle, and then we're going to do this chevron rein look here, and let's see if you can see that. So basically, it's a lacing in the chevron pattern. Now, it actually, for grip purposes, it would go this way, so that when you go to grab onto it with your hand, that you get resistance from these things, these chevrons. Okay, so we're going to do this look right here. It's fairly simple, and that's why I thought I'd start with that. It's beginners can do this. Advanced people can do this. It's just a nice look. So you need your reins, and then you're going to need some type of, this is a, it's called Gutermann, right? And it's a cord, even though it's on a spool like a thread, but it's a cord. So it's multiple strands, so it's thick. Okay, now you might be able to find some bedspread weight cotton. The smallest they have is probably about right too. So this is a little expensive, but it's the color that I wanted, because it goes pretty well with, gives a nice contrast to my leather, so it's going to be obvious it's there. There's no use in being subtle in the tiny world, because it may not be seen, so you want the detail to be apparent, but it's not red, right? So it's not that obvious, but it'll give a nice contrast so that it's obviously there. I could use just a dark brown, same color, but this is what I have. It's what I like using, especially in photo show, because otherwise the details tend to blend. So you could use this for either live show or photo show. Now, the first thing we have to do is figure out where we're going to put the chevron, and also the bit stop, and it basically the purpose of all of this. So your bit's over here, right? That'll fold over. And then if you had a running martingale, so if you've all seen a running martingale or a bib style running martingale, either way, there's going to be like a loop or a jump ring in here. And what happens is, if that's too big, it actually gets over here and gets caught on the rein. So one of the first things you'll see is these little tab things pointed on each end, and they're long, and the point of that is to stop the bit from getting to the rein. All right, and so we're going to make one of those on each rein, and then there's going to be an area usually between that bit stop and about where the horse's neck starts, that open area that's there for the running martingale. So we're not going to put any chevron in there, because we need that to be smooth running for that running martingale. So to go between the bit stop and wherever we start the chevron. And then the chevron is for grip when you're really holding on to the horse, and so it's not going to go all the way to the end. We're only going to go, we'll go ahead and unbuckle that. We're only going to go about where the rider would need grip. And so that's going to be somewhere in here, right? So it's not going to be the whole rein. And that's what we need to determine, because that's going to determine where we start, right? And we need to determine it from the back end, because in order to get the chevrons facing the right way, we have to start from the buckle part of the rein and move towards the bit. All right. So let's see. I have my cheat sheet. Let's see. Grab my cheat sheet. There we go. So on my cheat sheet, I kind of marked chevron rein. Okay, and so the area where the chevron is going to happen is in between here. Okay, so I've got my bit stop. I've got my wraparound for the bit. This is the open area. And then between here and here is where I'm actually going to do the chevron detail. Okay, so you can do this any way you want. Sometimes I got lazy and did it right through my card once. That was just a bad idea. But usually I can start one and then I can use this as a pattern for the other. So I'm going to go ahead and hold that there, and it's a chevron start. It's right there. And in a second, I'll go ahead and get out a ruler and get you some more specific dimensions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole using my needle on a stick or an awl. I have a needle on a stick because the hole's not that big. But that's my start right there. And so let's see, get a ruler, and from the rein end, let's see what we got here. From the rein end to the chevron start, we have, what is that, 2 3/8. So 2 1/2 would be fine. 2 3/8 is what I've marked. Okay, and then it's going to go for about 2 1/16 inch. Could go a little longer, so if you wanted to go 2 1/4 to make measuring easier, you could do that. So, but we're going to start with that. And what we need to do is really getting blind in my old age. So now that I know where I want to start, I'm going to just in the center, about every 1/16 of an inch or so, we're going to make a hole right in the middle. I don't know if you can see. Maybe I'll make them and zoom in for you. But I'm just going to press in and make holes. Now the trick is to get these as evenly spaced as possible. And it is about a 1/16 of an inch. I'm pretty sure about that. So you could use, if you wanted to do true 1/16, you could take, like a piece of leather, is a 1/16 of an inch. That might help you. Okay, there. And then that's where I want the hole. And then you could, just do that all the way down. Place that there. That's where I want my hole. Okay, if that'll help you with spacing, you can do that. Anything that you have that's a 1/16 inch. So we're going to do this for about 2 inches or so. Centered is the important thing. And then this is where I like having my cheat card, because then I can just kind of close am I? Let's see, I need about 2 more holes and then I'll be good. All right. And then we get to do the same to the other rein. No, I don't know if I need to zoom in on this or not, but I'm going to, I guess. Let's see if we can show you the holes. And, I'm no brilliant scientist here when it comes to this, but there, can you see those holes? And you can certainly see the holes in my board. All right, and so then because I'm looking for symmetry, then if I'm happy with that, then I'll put them side by side like this, and it only depends upon how, coordination of fingers. Don't have to do this, but then I'll just put them side by side, and I'll kind of use the other one as a template. So we'll start there. You do have to get them even at the top here, which I'm off a bit, but let's see. Nope. There's that one right there. That's my starting hole right there. Okay. 2. Oops, that was a little bit off there. All right. Okay, we're going to get ready to start lacing it up. Go ahead and pick the rein that has the little pointed tip on it. That's the one that goes into the buckle. And we're going to point that upwards. And we're going to find the very first hole. And I don't know, do I need to teach you how to thread a needle? Hopefully not, because I threaded it. And it isn't a very long length of the thread. And I did put a knot on the end, but I'm going to cut it off because I think it's too much bulk. But anyway, so we're going to go, what I find is easiest is to go from the front and open that hole up. All right, so it's as big as you need it to be. And then we're going to work mostly pulling from the back. In fact, we're always going to pull from the back. All right, so I just pulled from the back, and now I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to pull that knot back, and I'm going to glue down the strand so I can cut the knot off. A little much on that glue. Excuse my fingernail, just. And I want to make sure that I lay it down centered. And then I am going to hold it and let it really set up. And I'm going to cut off that knot. And now it should look nice and flat. Extra glue there. Rid of that. Okay, so now I can't see the white of the glue anymore. That means it's set up enough now. I can work this. So, and this is the stitch, all right? Make sure there's no tangles. Open this up. Wrap one of them around. Okay? And now we're going to open the hole. Find the hole. These all might be a little bit too close together. Let's find the hole. I'll see. And now I'm going to push through from the back. So opening the hole helps you find it when you push through from the back. And if you need a pair of pliers to get it past that resistance, do so. And let's keep that from tangling. And this is why you want a relatively small piece of thread, because you don't want the tangles. And then make sure that we've pulled it the same amount on both sides. So it looks like that one side was a little bit loose. Okay, and there's your first chevron. Let's see. There's your first chevron. All right. So I'm just going to keep doing basically the same thing. I'm going to untwist it and then open it up. And one goes, so you put it right through the center. See, that's right through the center of that hole I opened up there, the gap in the thread. And then we're going to go ahead and find the next hole. Open it up. And then pull through from the back. And watch out for twists. So it likes to get twisty on me. It's a cord. And I like the cord because it's bigger than thread. I've tried using thread and the effect is too subtle for me. People might find it perfectly fine. Okay, and now we're going to pull it so we have, there we go, second chevron. And just in case you missed it, we'll try showing you one more time, because this is really all there is to this. So open it up, right? put one around. Open up the hole. From the back. Pull it through. And then go ahead and see. Now you have to kind of set them because that one didn't come out, you know, naturally right. So we're going to play around with it. So we set it as a chevron. And let's see, one side needs to be pulled a little. The other one's a little tight, but now I got another chevron. And so the consistency and the distance is important, which you'll figure that out. So you got to make sure your holes are as consistently the same distance apart. And you're just going to do this. Remember, starting from the buckle end, because now we've got, see how the grip, you grab on these ridges. If you were this way here, you would slip, but this way here, your hand would grip. So make sure you start from the buckle end. I'm going to go ahead and do this for both pieces, all the way to the end. I'll show you how to end it. Pretty much it's going to be the same way as this end. You're going to glue it down, but I'll show you when I get to this end. But I'm going to go ahead and do both of them, and I'll be back. All right, so I don't want to be one of those instructional channels where I only show you how easy it is and not show you some of the difficulties you'll face. So I've got this problem here where it's not tangled, it's just twisted, and it's just become a pain. So what I did is I kind of backed the thread out. I'm trying to back out the same amount. One side got pulled in faster than the other. And I want to pull this tangle through from the back. So I'm going to, tricky. Let's see if I can find the problem thread. And now I've got it even again here. And so I want the twist to go through the hole. So I'm going to kind of pull the twist there and then see if I can't get that. Yeah, there, it worked. All right, so now I've got two separate threads there. All right, so I just wanted to see that. That's one of the most common things I encounter is this likes to tangle up in the back. But there you go. All right, on to the next one. Okay, another problem I have sometimes is just losing track of my holes. And so they close up over time. It's kind of a cool trick leather has. And so they have trouble finding them. So I'll get my board out and I'll just go ahead and find them. I did them from the back. And so I'll just go ahead and reopen the holes. I can usually see them better from the back. Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like, and now we're going to do the finish. Right, so this grip is right where the rider would actually grip. It doesn't go all the way down. So we're going to do one last fake chevron. We're just not going to poke it through the other side. So let's go ahead and split it, the two sides of thread. Go ahead and put it around, and then we're going to put the thing through there. So one on either side. Okay, let's see if I can. So we're gonna glue this chevron in place. Okay, I want it kind of dry because I want this to glue pretty quick. So we're gonna take the first one. I don't know if you saw that. So I did the chevron and then I did a pivot. Okay. And same thing on the other side. So I went this way like it was going to be the chevron, and then I used my thumbnail to hold it down so I could pivot it so that it's straight back. And it's not a great final chevron, but there's my final chevron. Okay, and then from back here we just have the thread. Okay, and then of course once it's no longer, you can't see the white anymore, it's basically dry, the glue. So I'll go ahead and snip off there. Okay, hopefully I won't run into any other issues while I'm doing the other side. If I do, I'll show them to you. If not, I will be back when it's time to do the finishing details. All right, getting up to the finishing. So here's my two 2 reins, and they're done. Are they perfect? No. I think I do a better job when I don't talk about it while I'm doing it. So I'm not thinking so much. Eventually muscle memory takes over. So I'm just going to go ahead and buckle this up, and just want the tip here just long enough to slip into the keeper right there. All right, that's about right. Okay, now we want to just kind of finish this. Now you could technically leave it this way, just Sharpie this here, and it'd be fine. I like to do a little more finish, so I'm just going to wrap. This is 1/16 inch thinly skived leather lace. If you don't have that, a little bit of skiver, but something that's pretty much in these dimensions. And so I'm just going to do a wraparound, and the wrap is what I'm trying to do is make it just beyond that last. This is really going to be okay. So just beyond the like a 1/16 of an inch away from the last chevron, I'm going to just do a finishing wrap. To me, I just kind of like the touch. It looks like somebody cared. Basically it's a fixed keeper. So if you know how to do a fixed keeper, that's all we're gonna really do here. And that was a little long, so I'm gonna put that on first. I'll put that there. Yeah, you'll see me do that a lot. When it's like too much glue, I'll just get my pinky nail in there, and I'll just get rid of it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other rein too, and this is the one back by the buckle. Okay, so it's right back here by the buckle. That's the one I'm doing. Okay, that's important. The other one we have to deal with the potential for a running martingale, so because we don't want the running martingale to get stuck on the chevrons, right? That ring. So we're going to put something a little bit bigger. It'll try and inhibit that, just in case. We don't want it to slip onto the chevrons and get stuck. You want to maintain control of your beast at all time. Oops, well, that was silly. It's a little bit too far up. Huh. Now it's a sliding keeper. Alright, I think that'll hold. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll just slide it back, put a little bit of glue in there, slide it forward. Alright, so up here, you've got two issues. One, you don't want this to slip into that ring for your running martingale, and you also don't want the ring from the running martingale to get caught on your rein here. So I've already folded over what I'm going to use for the bit, because it was actually, I busted the glue bond when I was doing this simple bridle. And so we're doing what's called a bit stop, or I call it a bit stop. There's probably a fancy name for it, but basically it's to stop the ring from getting caught on the bit. Yeah, it could be called anything else. If you know what it's actually called, please, go ahead and leave that in the comments. And so basically it's what we're going to do to simulate this. And this is the simplest one I've seen, is I'm going to take, again, this lovely skived 1/16 inch, and going to put it, let's see, so I don't want it right where the bit fold over is. I want it back a little bit. We're going to do this. Okay, so it's like we're making a keeper. And I go all the way across. And then right here, we're going to actually fold it right about here. So that it's flush on both sides. And and take this part off. And I'm going to snip the fold off because it's going to be hard to get the point that we need. And it's not entirely even, but it's okay because we're going to trim it. Where's my... So I'm going to do the same on this one here. And if you have to, you can put them, you know, like put the reins together and see if you can't get that symmetry. Because we're always looking for symmetry. In most tack, except for side saddles, symmetry is important. Okay, so... I'll do basically the same thing. Yeah, so much there. I've only seen one of these ever on a rein. I've never seen two. Now the next thing, and this is the tricky part, I was trying to find a good picture of this to show you. You're going to have to look at the internet, look at some of the jumpers, some of the English bridles, fully tacked up. See it more with a drop nose band type, which this would be really easy to turn into a drop nose band. You just add that extra nose band and attach it with a little piece of skyber. In fact, maybe I'll show nose band options like in a different video, but basically we need points, and my clippers aren't as sharp as they used to be, otherwise I would use that. So instead I'm gonna pull out my cutting board and I'm gonna use a blade, and hopefully I'll get more control that way. I'm gonna use my bigger blade because I know this one happens to be sharper. I don't know if I want to change blades just for this, but so it's gonna be, the trick is gonna be to get it, see, I got half a point there. I want to put on my super glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing in this tiny, tiny world. All right, so I've already got the one, and now I'm going to try and let's just see, where'd it go? There it is. And, so you see the point, and then we're going to do the other sides, and they are a little bit long. All right. This is why not having that that fold over. So there we go. Not having that fold over is helpful because that bulge tends to cause. So yeah, I'm already having problems keeping it. Let's see, for misbehaving. All right, so we're going to take off like that much, and then same thing. That might be where the board is. Let me see if I can move it to someplace less used. I don't know what I'm going to do when this board is done. I don't make these anymore. This was a kind of a purchase gift, and I bought something at an oak. It was all oak. I love oaks. This is an oak board, and they don't make them anymore. Oak is very rare, so at least for furniture. They cut down all the good ones. All right, so there you go. That's your bit stop. And then the next is going to be, what do we do there? Okay, so this other side here, we want something a little bit more robust to try and contain that sliding ring. I mean, not huge, but I'm not going to use quarter. I'm going to use 3/32, and I'm going to do basically what I did with the other one. I've already skived this, so it's thin, and now I'm going to do that. It looks like a keeper, but it's, you know, only on the one side. So flip it over, and again, it's just off of that last chevron. We don't want it on top of it. And it's dual purpose. It holds down your pieces here, which, you know, technically, yeah, you could just Sharpie those so nobody sees the ends, and then you'd be good. I don't know if this is absolutely realistic. I haven't ever owned these reins. I've only seen them in pictures, so, and they're not using thread. I'm pretty sure they're using leather lace, which, so we're already, you know, not exactly realistic, because you're not going to get leather lace as small as this cord here. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get that, and then make sure I put it in the right place. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so that should help prohibit it from jumping over onto the rein, because it's not smooth. Okay, it kind of stops it. And you would hope that if they watch them jump, and you'll see this on their, how that kind of works. I'm not sure if every horse has it, but I've seen it enough to go, okay, that's a detail I can add that will add just an extra detail to hopefully, you know, make it look even more real. So yeah, I watch jumping, I watch cross country, and yes, I watch it for the horses and riders, but really I like watching it for the, how can I convert that into a model version? Wouldn't that make a neat diorama? And just checking out tack and jumps, and let's see. Okay. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is the connection to the bit. And it doesn't really matter. Let's see, I'll go out a little bit. I don't want to get too, might get seasick. Okay, so we're gonna kind of fake this, right? And so there's two keepers. There's a fold over. I'm not gonna put in a hook. That's a lot of bulk to put in that hook, because that wire in scale is really small and probably not entirely worth trying to replicate. But just so you know, it's a hook. There's and that's on the long side of the rein, and it's like sewn in. That's what you can see here, is that would be where the hook was sewn in. And then there's a slot for the lace, and there would actually be, see, that should go through both of these keepers. I don't know why. See, they've got that, but anyways. So that's what it looks like, and that's what we're going to duplicate. Okay. Let's see. Here's the ring on the bit, and of course it's really easy just to go ahead and fold over and glue, and then we'll just add those two keepers. So what looks like keepers, right? And but do that to the other side. Make sure you don't have it twist when you do it. So lay out your reins, lay out your bridle, and make sure that you attach it correctly so that you don't. I mean, you can always unbuckle if you had to. On my reins, you can always unbuckle to take care of any twists. When you glue this on, don't go all the way to the ring. You want this to be able to move, right? So a little bit off. Okay, so now we're going to kind of fake this by using, yeah, I got my 16th inch teeny tiny skiver, and going to go ahead and make two little keepers, because there's two keepers. One before that little hook and one after that hook. So that's a little detail you can, so it doesn't look like it's just folded over. It looks like maybe you did put a hook in there. If you wanted, I guess you could put like get a fine silver pencil or pen. Just put a silver mark there. Sometimes I would do that on where I think something is pinned or hooked. I just touch just a little detail with that silver pen. Just depends on how much detail I was going for. So I'm going to do a double because the picture I have shows a double. Look at that. Didn't get that right close. I have tons of cutting tools. So let's see. That might be a little long, but let's see. Yeah, I think these kinds of keepers where you fold over like this, you just need some practice at it. I've done a lot of them. I mean, you do 16 on a double bridle, you get good at them pretty fast. I will get to double bridle. I have my whole dressage set I want to show you guys how to make, but I still need to do something for the pad. We've got the martingale, we've got different types of or breast strap, whatever you want to call it, and then you have the running attachment, whether it's going to be a bib. I like the bib style. I think they're cool. Or just a regular running type. So we still have a ways to go before we're done with this, and then I'll hit the other saddle types. I've got English and Western side saddles. Those are fun to make. Australian stock saddle, English and Western. I wouldn't make the Western. Just it's something that's an American thing. Like if there's a horn, it must be a Western saddle, but it's silly. But I made the pattern for it anyways, just in case. These patterns, you know, when I had the time to actually just make tack one failure after another. That's what prototyping is. So, that's my last one here. I think I'm rambling. But anyways, I've got a bunch of books, and like I'm really hitting the ones where I've redone the pattern. So my Western, because I still have to do Western pleasure, English saddle, dressage saddle. These are different from the patterns in my books that I sell because I've just had time. Saddle trees, I've got used to only make them out of clay, and I have a leather version, and I got that. So if you're wondering what the method is to my madness, it is very much to try and teach things that I didn't show in my other books, or in my books, because I just don't. And maybe one day I'll be able to stay home and write books again. But they're time consuming and they take research, and okay, I think I kind of overdid the glue there. So glue bubbles are actually, with white glue, are pretty easy to kind of scrape off. And you can do it with the blade, like that. With just some scissors, you know, whatever I pick up, actually. But there, got rid of a lot of this. That one's being nasty. Got that. So yeah, check your glue bobbles, but that's it. We did it. We made our chevron reins. There you go.